Hello, good to be back. Ignore the bandage. I've just spent the last week banging my head against a brick wall. But I think I'm over the worst of it. I think I've soldiered on and I've broken. I've broken through. I've had a breakthrough, I think. Although I don't think there are any lasting effects. So that's what atrocious acting. But you know. Anyway, let's move on. I've got. This is a mixture of stuff. I really want to get back into the swing of things. I've just been on a bit of a sort of been on a down low, just no momentum, and I think I need to, whatever that means, interpret that how you will. I need to go grab it by the bull by the horns. So I've got plenty of ideas. Just need to get my arse in gear. But I've not bought much. Not been doing much of much, if I'm brutally honest. Apart from dreaming up ridiculous things to put on my head. But yeah, so I've already wasted a minute and 45 seconds of your time. I think I might crack on. Actually, also ignore the beard. I'm going undercover. I can't say why and I can't say where, but I'm going undercover. And remember, it's a secret. Don't tell anyone. So I'm losing it. I think that maybe there's more truth to the bandage story than I was letting on. But anyway, no, I've bought one or two games, three. Not really. Actually, I've not really spent any money at all. Actually, no, I have. I've spent £2. But I'll get on with it because I'm boring myself. What did I do? Yeah, my last lot of pickups. I got a £3 for £10 in Game Station, and I got a dodgy copy of Knights of the Old Republic. So I took that into a different branch of Game Station, and I sort of swapped it for Star Wars Battlefront 2, which I used to have. Well, I never had it. I rented it, and it was really good, but it felt quite easy if I remember. But this is surprisingly expensive to buy. This is sort of like 12, 15, maybe a little bit more on eBay. It's ridiculous. But yeah, it's a bit bashed up actually. It's not in the best condition, but like I said last time, I was beyond caring, and maybe I can sort of change the case and, you know, get the disc buffed up and it'll be alright. But no, this is a game I do remember enjoying when I rented it. I think I rented this and its predecessor. So yeah, and it was in 3 for 10. So I mean, considering how expensive it is in a computer exchange on an eBay, I thought, yeah, why not? Eternal Sonata. This was a computer exchange purchase for £6. I traded in an old copy of Res that I bought about a month ago, and I got quite a bit for that, to be honest. And I've been biding my time looking for something that I really particularly want. And Eternal Sonata. This is obviously my sort of game, but the only thing that sort of put me off slightly was the fact it's that the way they've taken a real life character and they've tried to sort of put it into a fantasy setting. It's a bit strange. I mean, it's about Chopin, isn't it? And I couldn't really get my head around that. I mean, I don't know, but everybody who's played this says it's really good, and if everyone says it's good, then games generally are. So I thought, well, I'd get over my hang-ups about this sort of odd setup and give it a go. And so £6 in computer exchange, and the first time it's ever happened to me, I took it to the counter and the guy took it off the shelf, as they do in the computer exchange, and he looked at the disc and it wasn't to his liking, so he buffed it up for free, and that's really nicely, very nice of him. He buffed it up for free, and that's never happened to me. I'd like it if that happened more. But, sorry, this is getting my tits. You know, it wasn't much of a joke to start off with, but there we go. Ooh, that's better. You know, it's starting to restrict the blood to my head. So yeah, Eternal Sonata. And finally, this is the only game I actually spent money on, because that was from credit from Res, and that was an exchange. My third ever copy of Mario Kart, and I've only ever paid £1.99, and this is £1.99 in Oxfam. I've only ever paid £1.99 for copies of Mario Kart, and this is the first one I've had that's actually got a manual. So this is a keeper, because the other two didn't have manuals, so I just traded them in, because this gets good credit from Computer Exchange. So this is a keeper. That's my sum total of my purchases over the last, do you know however many weeks? I don't know, I've just been doing other things. I don't know. Oh, get a grip, man. No, second part of this video is that there's been a tag going around by a guy that if I'm brutally honest, I'm ashamed to say I've not seen his channel before. It's called RedH0plite's, and he created a tag in order to get to know people and get to know their habits, and you know, sort of like their sort of grounding in gaming, you know, sort of how it came about. And it's a really nice sort of gentle tag. Just I mean, it's really an honest. Its aim is honest, you know. It's just to get to know people, which I like that sentiment. So I thought I'd give it a go, because I wasn't actually tagged, but it's an open tag. People have been doing it, and it seems to have legs. And I've got the questions here, and they're really simple. The first question is, how long have you been gaming? I've been gaming, well, the first time I remember anything to do with video games, I used to live in Romford in Essex. That's where I was born, and I moved when I was 4. And it must have been sort of pre then, so I must have been about sort of 3 or 4, or maybe even as young as 2. And I can remember an asteroids cabinet in a cafe somewhere. Remember, that was probably the first, with a little dial controller. That's the first thing I remember about gaming. But then, first actually home console I remember was our neighbour's teenage son had I think it was, I couldn't say what Atari it was. It was a 2600. I'm guessing it was a 2600. But I've got this really vivid memory of him playing that dogfight game. I can't remember what it was called, but it was a dogfight game. It looked brilliant. But as far as I'm concerned, when we moved, it must have been around about 82. When I was 4, or coming up to 5, we got an Acorn Electron that never worked. I can vaguely remember playing Hopper, I think, the game that A. Murphy desperately wants to get rid of. But I can remember it going back. We sent it back because it could never get it to work, and then moved on to the Amstrad CPC 464, the old faithful, the old Alan M. Sugar trading CPC 464, and never looked back. So yeah, I suppose it's about 82. So what does that work out as? 29, 30 years. Jesus, long time. How long have you been collecting? Games, retro games. I don't really collect. I wouldn't say I'm an actual collector. I just buy them. I mean, I buy games because I want to play them. I suppose you could say it's collecting, because I've had games in the past and traded them, and then as soon as I traded them, just really wanted to get them back, really wanted to play the game I've just traded. And I suppose from that I learnt my lesson, and excuse me, I learnt my lesson sort of that if I trade things in the past I had to be doubly sure that I don't want to keep them. So I tend to keep a lot more games, on sort of the majority of my games. I rarely trade things, and only if it's really worth it. And so I suppose in that sense I'm a collector because I do have a collection, and it builds up, and it's significant. It's not just a little small select collection of games. It's, you know, in its hundreds. I mean, to be honest, what constitutes collector? But I suppose, as far as YouTube's concerned, I started watching videos and realised that the sort of people that were making the videos were doing what I was doing, and they were calling themselves collectors. And I suppose I've been doing it for, and this is going on about, this is last year, so just over a year. And I suppose I'd been buying games properly for a good few years before that. So probably about 3.5, 4 years, I would say, if I had to put a, you know, a number on it. But so yeah, 3.5, 4 years, that's how long I've been collecting. If you're only allowed one console, what would it be? That would be a PS2. Because it doesn't have the best roster of classic games, that's undeniable, but it has more games that suit my taste. And I can get a lot of mileage out of these games, and it also has the get out of the backwards compatibility, so I can I can play PS1 games on it as well. But obviously RPGs and shooters and beat 'em ups, it's got, you know, whereas if you were to say a Nintendo console, you have the bona fide classic Mario games and things like that, but sort of the niche titles are the ones that are under the radar slightly, you get less of. So I'd have to go with the PS2 if I was only ever allowed one console. What one game keeps you coming back for more every year? Well, this is the game I'm playing at the moment, verging on finishing. Just saved it in front of the last dungeon. Collected every single character, and I've mentioned it in my last video. It's Suikoden 2, and I've played this last run through. I've played it to. I've sort of played it slightly different because I've sort of been more of a concerted effort to get all the characters, so I sort of really know what I'm doing more. Before I was just sort of like blindly going through it and trying to do my best without consulting too many guides. But this, I think I actually got all the characters. Maybe there's one or two that I consulted a guide for. But it's just all-encompassing. It's just got endless charm. I mean, it's quite conventional, but then it has its sort of main hook is the character collecting. So I think that's what appeals to people, because then you can sort of tailor your game more to suit yourself. It's more unique to you, even though all the good characters stand out and they're pretty obvious. But and it's just got like a lot of depth, and it's got a massive game world, and it's got charm, and it's got mini games. And there's just so much to it, and the whole package just is just sort of really inspiring. And obviously it's got the nostalgia factor. You know, even though I think when I first had that I was probably about 19, which seems a bit strange because that was obviously a long time ago, but I'm still pretty old to be referring to nostalgia. So that would be Suikoden 2. The nostalgia is a very powerful thing, it's not to be underestimated. And finally, question 5, what game would you suggest for a friendly community challenge? This is something I've just discovered recently. again, I'm repeating myself because I keep mentioning all the same games in all my recent videos. It's Raiden 3, but there's a specific element to this game. I won't talk about the actual game itself because I think I've spoken about that quite enough recently. But there's an element in this game that I've only just discovered, and it puts a whole new spin on it. It's not dual mode. I forgot what it's called. It's double, because you can have a double player. You can have single player, double player, or dual. Dual is 2 players. Single player is obvious. But double player is basically where you control both ships using one controller. So you control each ship with either thumbstick on the PS2 controller, and then you fire using L1 and R1 for the corresponding thumbsticks and ships, and then the smart bomb is L2 and R2. So it's sort of like a John Woo double-wheeled video game, because it creates a really interesting spin on the whole thing, and to get good at it would just be ridiculous, because shoot 'em ups are well known to be just tough bitches of games anyway, aren't they? And to get good at that is almost like the holy grail. It's like Everest. To be able to double wield a shoot 'em up like that would be, I don't know. It's like if you get to as good as you can be at that, you're like almost like a god. But that would be my friendly community challenge. Would be a score attack, high score on double mode on Raiden 3 on the PS2. The only slightly downside to that is I'm not sure how many people have got this, because this is a stinker to get hold of. But it's almost, I would almost say it's worth it just for that element. If anybody knows of any other shoot 'em ups with similar elements where you can control 2 ships on one controller, then could you let me know, because I thought that was a really brilliant idea. But yeah, that's me. I've got another tag for bedtime 143 coming up. An excellent. It's epic tag number 2. It's another questions along similar lines, but just as good as first time. And I think I'm going to do a gameplay video of said double mode on Raiden 3. And I'm going to do I'm going to do a video of why I love Suikoden so much, because I think I've mentioned that. And I might even incorporate that into some sort of, because I've been discussing with Blue Tonic 78 about doing my own sort of rant series, that, you know, a discussion rant series that a lot of people have been doing. I think I might do my own one. See if I can build up some sort of routine. And it was going to be Tuesday night. But I think I might try and incorporate it into some gameplay and just sort of talk over the top. My idea was to do a bit of specifically a bit of RPG level grinding and just talk unrelated nonsense over the top. So you've got something to look at. You don't have to look at my ugly mug, but you can just sort of you get an idea of the gameplay. You can watch a gameplay if you want to, even though it's just boring level grinding. But also you can listen to my ramblings. You know, I think because there's sort of 2 or 3 elements to that. Maybe it might constitute a video worth watching, but probably not. But it's not quite in pipelines. It's up here, and if I can get my arse in gear, then I'll definitely do one. So thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Anybody who really likes the idea of this tag, please feel free to do it. And I'll see you lots very soon. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I've lost my train of thought. See you later.